And now, WWE presents Survivor Series War Games Post-Show.
Roman Reigns, the OG Bloodline, and CM Punk stand tall and secure a massive W here inside Rogers Arena in Vancouver as Survivor Series War Games comes to a close. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Survivor Series War Games Post-Show live from inside of Rogers Arena here in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Jackie Redmond alongside Wade Barrett and Big E. Guys, we talked about the weight of this match for Roman Reigns and his crew. How monumental is this victory for them?
I think it was absolutely massive. Had they lost today, to me, it was the end of the OG Bloodline for good. And I'll make a note that it was CM Punk who saved Roman Reigns from a massive tsunami and has essentially saved the future of the OG Bloodline.
Yeah, I almost shed a tear actually seeing that beautiful moment. It was really beautiful. But seeing five living legends all put their bodies on the line, I thought it was an incredible, explosive main event. They really solidified themselves as the true Bloodline, and I'm intrigued to see. Again, I want to talk about the highlights of this night, but I also want to know about this favor. I keep getting stuck on this damn favor.
What is this favor?
Those men put on an incredible performance here tonight.
Yeah, we'll be asking that question for quite some time. I believe we saw CM Punk and Paul Heyman have a word after that match was over. CM Punk saying, "I will come to you when I need that favor," that Paul Heyman now owes him. Michael Cole, Corey Graves were in the booth calling all of tonight's action. Guys, you heard Wade talk about CM Punk maybe being the MVP of this victory for the OG Bloodline. Do you agree?
Well, guys, I think that there's so many things to unpack here, right? Roman needed this win. We talked about this was a must-win for Roman, and he got it. But there's so many more questions, I think, coming out of this match than going in. Like, where does this leave the new Bloodline? I mean, Solo's still got the Ulafala.
Yeah, I think we'd be fools to think that Solo's going to take this loss lying down, that there aren't going to be repercussions for Roman Reigns pinning the new Tribal Chief here tonight at War Games. I think Solo and his entire crew are going to come back more dangerous and more lethal than they have been before.
Let's talk about the women's War Game match. A definitive victory for Rhea Ripley and company. Rhea pinning Liv Morgan. Does that put her back in the hunt for a possible title opportunity?
I think anytime in this business you pin a sitting champion, it automatically puts you to the front of the line. With that said, this is Liv Morgan we're talking about. I'm sure Liv's going to pull every little trick she can and throw up whatever roadblocks she can muster to stop Rhea from coming toward her and taking her championship back.
What is Finn Balor's end game? Again, he screwed Damian Priest out of the world title.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't have an answer for you. Finn Balor has been a friend of mine. I've been a fan of Finn Balor for a long time. He's gone into business for himself, and I don't know that anybody not named Finn Balor can truly understand the machinations of what's happening in his head.
Well, and also we talk about that hard-hitting Intercontinental Championship match. Braun Breaker with another star-making performance here tonight at Survivor Series.
Not only Braun Breaker, but Sheamus reminding the WWE Universe why he's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. And Ludwig Kaiser opening a lot of eyes tonight, talking about showing the world that they should be paying attention to him. He's not just Gunther's lackey.
And finally, we did have one championship change tonight. Shinsuke Nakamura back on top of the mountain as the United States champion. He was masterful in the way that he manipulated with the mind games on LA Knight, took Knight completely out of his game.
Listen, I've heard a lot of criticisms over the years, since his days in NXT, that this Americanized version of Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't his true self, wasn't his best self, that the best Shinsuke stayed back in Japan. I have a feeling over the next year or so, or whatever this run lasts, we're going to see the best Shinsuke Nakamura we, as WWE fans, have ever seen. I think the formula is just right now for greatness.
Well, again, Survivor Series was great here tonight at ringside, but let's send it back to Jackie, Big E, and Wade Barrett.
Guys, thank you so much. You hear them talking about Shinsuke Nakamura becoming the new United States champion. This is the first time in the history of WWE a championship has changed hands in the city of Vancouver. So a future answer to a trivia question, I guess, for wrestling fans everywhere. But it has been a crazy night. In case you missed any of the action, Michael Cole, Corey Graves just did a great job of sort of recapping everything that went on. We're going to dive into a little analysis on every single match tonight. We're going to hear from some of the winners, some of the losers as well. Of course, we will take you live to the press conference as soon as it begins. But you heard the guys talking about Rhea Ripley getting the pin over Liv Morgan. Does that earn her, you think, a title shot?
Well, absolutely. She deserves it. I will say, for all the celebrations at the end of that match, that was perhaps 1% catharsis for Rhea Ripley. True catharsis comes when she wins back what she views as her Women's Championship from Liv Morgan, and we'll see if that ever happens.
Absolutely. No, she's definitely earned that. And look, I think we all would like to see a Judgment Day free singles match, no interference. Let's run it 1v1.
Don't hold your breath, Biggie.
I know, but that opportunity is definitely deserved by Rhea.
It certainly is. Are you guys surprised by Finn Balor's actions tonight at all?
No, nothing surprises me about Finn Balor. I mean, he's a devious guy. He's turned to the dark side a little while ago. It's proved fruitful for him in his career, and clearly he has a long-standing beef with Damian Priest that was caused from months and months of this perceived bullying while he was in the Judgment Day alongside Priest. Priest talking down to him, treating him like a rookie, like an underling, and that burns in the heart of someone like Finn Balor, who is a true top guy in this industry.
Yeah, never underestimate a member of the Judgment Day getting involved in something that is none of their business. It's kind of like what they do. I want to talk about the Women's War Games match again. I know we just talked about the Rhea Liv aspect of it, but there were so many amazing performances within that match. We're going to hear from the winners of that match, all 5 of them here in just a second, but anyone in particular stand out for you just in terms of their performance?
Yeah, I thought once again, Io Sky was incredible, just absolutely unbelievable. And I got to give a lot of love to Tiffany Stratton. I believe this is her first War Games match, but she didn't look like there was any, any tension, any nervousness. She came prepared. She showed out. I was really impressed with her performance here today.
Yeah, and I really want to know, when she was about to cash in the Money in the Bank contract, who was she going for before Io Sky ruined this big moment for all of us and perhaps saved the championship of either Nia Jax or Liv Morgan? Who exactly was Tiffany Stratton going for there?
Huge question. And, we've seen this with Tiffany Stratton a few times going, oh, maybe this is my time. Maybe this is when I should strike, but never where there's 2 champions, 2 possible options for
Spoiled
her.
for choice. That was the problem. She took so long over it. Suddenly, here's the fire extinguisher of Io Sky ruining that moment for her.
Yeah, but it's like when you go to a great restaurant and the menu is like 30 pages. I got too many options. Shorten it.
I hate an overwhelming menu.
Me
too
too.
many options is a problem. Simplify. And maybe for Tiffany Stratton too, a little less hesitation. Just go for it. Make the decision and own it, and maybe she'll end up with some championship gold around her waist sooner rather than later. But we are going to take you now live to that press conference. All 5 winners of the Women's War Games match are standing by. Let's take you there now.
Ladies, congratulations. Couple birthday hats in tow, so we'll not waste any time. Let's get started with our first question. We'll head right over to the front row.
First question for Rhea Ripley. Rhea, now that you've got your revenge on Liv Morgan, do you still see yourself wanting to go after Dirty Dom?
First of all, g'day, mate. Nice to see a familiar face. Look, revenge seems to be the topic of conversation when it comes to me and Liv. Dom is in that now as well. I am not done with Liv. If Dom wants to stick his nose where it don't belong, then I'm not done with Dom either. Like, if he's going to come out and interfere, of course I'm going to put my hands on him. But, that being said, I will be respectful because Io, she is #1 contender. So Io, when you have your match with Liv Morgan, I hope you cave her face in.
Next question.
Hi, everybody. Sir Wilkins from the Jobber Tears podcast. First things first, whose birthday is it?
Mine!
Oh, happy birthday. Hold on. Let's all sing. Let's all sing. Let's all sing. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Naomi. Happy birthday to you. You're very much welcome. So, Miss Sky, once again, you pulled off an amazing move in the War Games match. Next thing on the list is your #1 contendership. You're going to go up against Liv Morgan. Are you going to come with backup? Because she has Raquel in her corner. Who's going to be in your corner when you go up against Liv?
So, I am the member of Damage Control.
No. I understand that. Are you gonna... So, as being a member, but are you gonna have all of them in your corner? Are you gonna pick one, or just all of them is gonna be in your corner because of what's going on?
Yeah, is anyone gonna help you, dude, or?
Ooh, take it easy.
Yep.
Be nice,
Yep.
Bailey.
Yep.
Come
So,
so far.
well, for now, I'm thinking I want to beat by myself, Liv Morgan, but I'm always trust my friends too, so I can think about it. I have time more. Yeah. All right.
Good answer. Good answer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Justin from the Wrestling Classic. This is a question for Rhea. We saw you take your mask off tonight. Is your injury better? Is the orbital injury recovered?
Honestly, I can't see it, so I don't know. But it feels pretty good.
Front row. Shaquille Majuri, CBS Sports. EO, no stranger to taking higher risks, but I'm curious, when you have that trash can over your head specifically, what's going through your mind? How much trust is involved? Like, how scary is that spot relative, to stuff where you can actually see what's happening?
Yeah, it's completely. How I say that?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, it's blind. It's completely blind. In the trash can, it's so dark. I can't see anything, but I just jump off. That's it. So that's it. That's simple. Yeah, yeah. I trust the trash can. Yeah.
Well, that wraps up our questioning, ladies. Once again, congratulations. Enjoy your War Games victory and enjoy Naomi's birthday party.
I'll tell you what, those ladies look ready to celebrate the birthday of one Miss Naomi. So happy birthday to her. Congratulations on them for winning their War Games match. And congratulations to you, Gunther, on retaining your World Heavyweight Championship. You know, it's no secret. You've heard a lot about your level of confidence heading into this match against Damian Priest. Did that get under your skin at all? And how difficult was this match maybe to prepare for compared to others in your career?
Well, I have to say tonight was very important for me personally. And I think the reason why I'm usually very successful is I don't get, flabbergasted by the stuff I achieve and that I do. I'm very focused, I'm very rational, but also I have a 100% success expectancy from myself. That got a little bit thrown off the tracks when I lost to Cody. And I gotta say, Priest, he really developed into, one of the most dangerous guys in WWE, and that timing was an issue, and to get mentally, on my feet again was definitely a challenge today. But tonight was important.
It was a hell of a performance tonight, once again from you. We've come to expect that at this point, but it has to be said, crucial to you winning that match was the involvement of Finn Balor, who attacked Damian Priest on the outside. Now, oftentimes that happens and someone's quite appreciative of it. You did not seem appreciative at all of Finn Balor. In fact, you booted him in the face. What was your reasoning behind attacking Finn Balor there?
So like I just touched on the whole mental challenge going into it tonight, and I felt very confident again in the middle of that match. I saw what happened with Priest's shoulder, and I had a clear target to go after, and I felt I was on my way to redeem myself, And Finn Balor decided to take that away from me. And I have to, we're seeing it here. I myself have to rewatch it as well. What exactly went down, but tonight was important, but there's definitely a stain on it.
Absolutely. So we've definitely seen you, I would say, kind of on the back foot the last several weeks on Raw. Is this something for you? We kind of had this conjecture that maybe you had this crisis of confidence, or maybe you didn't feel quite yourself. Was that something that was going through your head? Because we're so used to seeing Gunther, who is dominant, who never takes a step back. What were your thoughts the last few weeks when Damian, many people would argue, had you a bit on the back foot?
Yeah, he did, and he had all the weeks leading up to today, and I have to admit that. And he got under my skin, and I felt uncomfortable in those situations and didn't really know what the way out was. So, like I said, even at the beginning of the match, if you rewatch it, then I struggled. I had to find my strategy, I had to find my way to get into it, and he came fully prepared for that. So I gotta give him that.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about your cohort, Ludwig Kaiser, not successful in winning the Intercontinental Championship tonight in a triple threat match. Not sure if you got a chance to watch it. You had your own night to prepare for and to worry about, but just your thoughts on Ludwig coming up short.
Well, I said to him a few weeks ago, like, hey, it's time to step out of my shadow a little bit and stand up for yourself because, you got to go out there and take it if you want it. And, it's his first PLE appearance. I'm very happy for him, and I think, yes, he hasn't achieved that goal. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but I think he can be very proud.
So you're not mad at him?
No, he can be very proud of his performance today, and he left it all out there, and that's, from my side, that's all I can ask for.
I've got to tell you, you and Ludwig both snappy dressers. I came here today. I don't know if you noticed the way I dressed. I dressed to support the ring general and Ludwig Kaiser today, and I also want to make this as my application to join Imperium. Do you think I could make the grade?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that like before around here, and Ludwig and I are both the assumption that Wade would be a very fitting member.
The internet's going to lose their mind right now. You know that, right?
I like the answer. I'll be honest, 15 years ago, I might have stood a chance. I think I'm a little old in the tooth at this point.
Age is just a number. It's
We'll
what's
see.
it's what's in your heart.
We need to talk over a couple of beers, hopefully.
I'm liking where this is going. I hate to have to cut it short, but congratulations on retaining your World Heavyweight Championship. I believe you're now 44-3 in singles competition in WWE. Very, very impressive stuff. So thank you for this.
Thank you very much. I wish it would be 0, but...
Well, listen, when only 3 people have ever beat, that's pretty impressive, Gunther. But thank you for this. Let's go back live to the press conference and hear from Bron Breakker, who is still the Intercontinental Champion.
Intercontinental Champion Bron Breakker, thank you for joining us. Let's open the questions up to the third row. You are first.
John Bernard with K-Roos Media. Bron, congratulations on the win tonight. Now, with Paul Heyman being heavily involved with CM Punk and Roman Reigns, as someone that's worked with Paul Heyman, where do you think his loyalty lies, and could you see yourself getting involved?
You know, I definitely think that there's a possibility of that happening at some point, maybe down the line. I don't know. But the door is definitely open. So I guess we would just say never on that.
Next question.
Hi, Bron. Spencer Love with Love Wrestling. Congratulations on retaining your championship tonight. We just saw Gunther interviewed, a 44-3 singles record this year. An impressive record on your end as well, too, and we saw a little bit of a mix-up there a couple of weeks ago. So, are your eyes on the World Heavyweight Championship, or is the priority right now being the best Intercontinental Champion you can be?
I think the priority right now is my Intercontinental Championship and having the best possible run that I can have, and just do a great job night in and night out. That's where my focus is right now. I'm sure I'll get to Gunther at some point and the World Heavyweight Champion at some point down the line, but right now we're just focused on this.
Hey, Bron, Shaquille Mahjouri, CBS Sports. Speaking of Gunther, we're coming off of a historic Intercontinental title reign from him not too long ago, and this is a championship that's very important to a lot of WWE superstars, very much a stepping stone to that main event scene. What is Bron Breakker's mission statement as Intercontinental Champion? What will validate this experience for you?
You know, I stand for 3 words. I've been doing it for a very long time. It's been engraved into me. It's what I believe, what I stand for, and it's effort, attitude, toughness. It spells eat, and that's my motto. Dogs got to eat, man. Every time that I step out there, I try to just give you guys every single thing that I have, no matter what, no matter when, whether it's Survivor Series or WrestleMania or Monday Night Raw, or doesn't matter. I'm going to do the best possible job that I can possibly do and give you guys everything, and that's a testament to what I stand for, man. Just how tough that I am, how much effort that I'm giving, how great of an attitude that I have, man. Those are all controllable things, so that's what I live by.
Bron, thank you for your time tonight. Sure. Please enjoy your victory.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, well, congratulations to Bron Breakker, who successfully defends his Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat. No easy feat when you don't even have to lose the match to lose your title, right?
Absolutely, man. I feel like a broken record when I talk about Bron Breakker, but this man is the future. Every time I see him, I am so blown away. His blend of speed, his mentality too. Growing up in the business, he's a cheat code. The guy truly is. I always say the sky is the limit with him. It really is, man. And look at Sheamus, seeing how beat up he is, and a guy, and things show up very easily on Sheamus. But man, Sheamus always puts his body on the line. I would love to see those three, run it back again. I think the world of all three of those guys, but Braun Breaker is here to stay, man.
Yeah, Braun, it sometimes goes over our heads how much he's achieved in such a short space of time. And part of that is because he carries himself and he talks like a veteran who has been doing this for 15 years at the very top. This guy's still really in his first year at the very top, and he's still blowing our minds. And the way he held himself in that press conference just then, he didn't even seem particularly happy. What he just did tonight was massive. He beat Kaiser and he beat Sheamus in a triple threat match at one of the biggest shows of the year, kept his championship, and to him, no big deal. I expected to do that, and I expect bigger things. And that, to me, is the mindset of Braun Breaker, despite all the physical attributes he has, which are mind-blowing. It's really that mindset that pushes him to the very, very top.
There's a cliche in sports we use a lot that's like, act like you've been there. He has that aura about him where you feel like he has been in all of these spots before, even though a lot of these things are first for him. My question, you talk about being blown away by him, E, like, are you blown away by him enough to, like, get the dogs barking, or? Oh, that's pretty good. I'm going to get Rosenberg's thoughts on the Big E barking here on set. What do you think, Rosenberg? Did he pull it off?
Listen, I don't know. There's a lot going on. Michael P.S. Hayes just threw up a gesture at me that I can't repeat on television. I'm listening to a terrible bark through my headset.
I thought it was a good bark.
It was a half decent bark.
Oh, Mike, you bark.
No, I'm not barking.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
There's the difference.
Well, this isn't Coming to America. I'm not barking like a dog. Now, the one thing we maybe didn't spend as much time on, because we look at the amazing poise of Braun Breaker and how he handles that press conference. We talk about Sheamus and just another insane banger from Sheamus where you see just how badly his ribs were punished and how beat up he was during that match. But how about Ludwig Kaiser, guys? I mean, that's absolutely the biggest spot he's ever had as a WWE superstar, and he shined as well.
He certainly did. Rosenberg, we talked a lot about the Bloodline Civil War Games match that finished the show tonight. Huge victory for Roman Reigns and his OG Bloodline with a lot of help from CM Punk. What's your takeaway from that match?
First of all, it's just awesomely entertaining and an absolutely needed, Wade and Big E talked about this on the Countdown show, an absolutely needed victory for the OG Bloodline. They had to get it. They do. And furthermore, how do you not come away from that match talking about the Samoan werewolf? Jacob Fatu, every time we see this guy, I feel like the entire WWE universe is blown away, and I had that feeling again tonight.
I got to ask you, Rosenberg, I just spoke to the ring general Gunther about the way I'm dressed, applying to join Imperium. I have noticed the way you're dressed, too. Let me ask you, are you also trying to pitch yourself for Imperium here?
Listen, you brought it up. It was a slight inspiration, as you said earlier.
There's not room for both of us. Let's be clear. One man can perhaps join Imperium.
I think from a physical prowess standpoint, they'd be smarter going with you, but okay. I bring other things to the table.
Such as?
Entertainment value.
All right.
Really good with the aux cord in the car. I'm fantastic there.
Okay. Good passenger seat passenger for Peter Rosenberg. Rosenberg, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that you're standing in front of the Vancouver Canucks logo there. The shout out to the fans here. They were chanting JT Miller. You guys, that might mean nothing to you.
I'm not a hockey
guy.
But
that is a member of the Vancouver Canucks. A lot going on around him right now.
Shout out to Pavel Bure. Pavel Bure, Trevor Linden, the legends.
Oh, absolutely.
The legends.
Listen, no doubt about it. Absolute legends. But the JT Miller chant, that popped me tonight. That was well played by the crowd here in Vancouver. Rosenberg, you're out. I'm being told in my ear, cut his mic. He's done. He's done. But let's turn our attention back to tonight's action. This being the first premium live event to be held in Vancouver in over 2 decades. Let's get to the Slim Jim Savage moment of the night. You can go to X and use the hashtag to share what is the most savage moment from Survivor Series. Let us know your thoughts. But for us, We got to go back to this triple threat.
Well, this is the moment Sheamus ribs kind of caved in. It looked like Ludwig Kaiser was going to put this one to bed and grab gold for the first time. But guess what? Here's the big badass Braun Breaker doing exactly what his name suggests and breaking his opponents on his way to victory.
Thing of beauty.
I feel like I felt that spear in my soul, and it didn't happen to me.
Oh, yeah, it's in there. It's in there now.
It certainly is. Congratulations again to Braun Breaker on retaining that Intercontinental Championship. You know, elsewhere, the only title that changed hands tonight was that United States Championship. Shinsuke Nakamura winning that from LA Knight after just returning back to WWE very recently. How impressive was his performance? I feel like this guy just is like perennial. I can't say the word.
Perennially. There we go.
Thank you. What a great teammates up here. Great teammates.
We help each other here. That's what we're doing.
Underappreciated. Not
Very much so.
underrated, but underappreciated.
Absolutely. And I think he reminded a lot of people of who he is here tonight. I have really enjoyed, I've loved this new version of Shinsuke Nakamura. He seems focused, different intensity. Even the song, which we all love, is remixed. But seeing this version of Shinsuke, I thought was really impressive. And to beat LA straight up, you know, we were expecting, I was thinking the Black Mist would really play a part tonight. It wasn't even on the table. It wasn't a thing at all.
All right. Well, congratulations to Shinsuke Nakamura. Let's head backstage now.
All right, guys, we've got the representing the OG Bloodline, Jimmy and Jey Uso, as well as Sami Zayn, and we'll open things up with our first question.
Come on, man. Marlo Usos, what's happening, baby?
Marlo.
What up, Uso? This is Solly Taylor. I'm also with CBS Sports. So when the Ainga calls, you got to answer that thing. My bad, you're in my way, brother. There, you're my shot. So y'all handled business tonight, and y'all had to let the little Usos know that y'all still run things. Do y'all want to go back and like try to chase some titles, or you want to let the little Usos know you still run this thing?
I think whatever presents a way towards us, man. The Usos always gonna be the Usos, right, Us? We done did everything in tag team wrestling, I feel like, but they can get this work if they want it. Yeah. But I would like, you know, well, whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying? I think my twin brother Jim can hold his own on his, you know, singles competition too. I like where we at right now. We can move and groove either way. That's what I think. Yeet. Right, Jim?
Yeet. Sir Wilkins here with Jobber Tears. So shout out to you guys for a great victory. Sammy, are you staying? Is this official now? Are you not gonna go on your own? Are you back with CM Punk just walked in.
All right.
But more about I'm talking to you, Sammy. Is this like a thing? Will you stay together?
Hello? Look, I think
Can anybody hear me?
I
Somebody
think the
give me some
bloodline thing
muffins.
now over the last what happened? I think the bloodline thing, because of the length of time for how long it's gone on now, and for the level of fan investment over the last few years, I feel like the closest thing I can kind of compare it to is like my story with Kevin Owens, for example, wherein it's sort of a story that I think is always going to be there. So, you know, the previous question was asking, you know, Jay obviously has been doing tremendous things on his own. Does he want to go back into a team? Does he want to go do this? Does he go? What's the future for all the bloodline members? I don't know, right? I don't know. But I think even if we all sort of drift in different directions, it's become this thing where you can always just sort of float back to the mothership, you know? Much like me and Kevin have been telling a story for over 20 years, and somehow we always find each other in our crosshairs, and we're very diligent, just as I think with the bloodline with regards to how we tell this story, we're very diligent about how we do it to make sure it's always piquing the fans' interest. So, I don't have a definitive answer for you. I don't know. But it's definitely not the end. I don't know if this is like we're back and we're running it just like we did 2 years ago, but it's never really going to be over because it's family. You know what I'm saying? I love the answer. Thank you. Thanks.
In other words, he's staying.
Yeah, right, yeah. A lot to basically...
Shout out to Osama right there.
Question for Sammy, Shaquille Mahjoudi, CBS Sports. Bit of a preamble, so please bear with me here. But I spoke to Paul Heyman last week, and when we were discussing your role in the bloodline, there's two things that really stuck with me. One is that prior to linking up with these guys, you were getting beat up by Wee Man and Johnny Knoxville and Mark Henry's Hand of a Son at WrestleMania. But to see one and a half years later,
I'm proud of that.
Hey, great match.
I'm
Great
with
match.
it. I'm not saying I didn't say anything. I'm with it.
Yeah. Apology. I know.
No,
rough
no,
start.
that's all good.
A year and a half later, we're talking about if you should be headlining WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. Second to that is Paul described you as a real catalyst for fleshing out everyone else in the group, that you helped bring out so many layers in Jay and Jimmy and Roman. So two-part question. What has this storyline done for you, and how does it feel to be, to a lot of people, an MVP who really helped put this whole thing on the map?
Well, that's very kind of you to say, first of all. Thank you.
Took a while to get there.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a while. For starters,
one more super kick in your head. One more.
You know? A couple of things. First of all, like I know being in a match with Johnny Knoxville is considered to be lower on the totem pole, obviously, than the main event of WrestleMania. I get that. I acknowledge that. But I think part of the success with my involvement with the Bloodline story is just taking everything I do almost too seriously, maybe. If it's not even about being too serious, it's just about making it as good as is humanly possible. And I think that's what... Look at it. Are those desserts or what?
Man, we asking for some desserts over here, and she gave us this. Come on, Osama. Osama, come on, man. You been here longer than all our daddy. Man, I don't want that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I kind of lost track of your question. Yeah, so I think I did provide a foil to kind of differentiate. You know, like Jay actually said this in a promo, but like, I bet you guys aren't asking which twin are you now, right? Because we were able to create such a contrast with all the characters, and I think I really just served as a foil to differentiate that. And a lot of that stuff was pre-planned, but a lot of it was just accidentally stumbling on gold. Like there really is, you know, and I'm trying not to blow too much smoke here, but there really is a magic chemistry with the four of us. Not Punk, because he's new to the equation here, no disrespect, but when you know, Roman and myself and the twins, they're really, and Heyman too, there's just something really magical about the chemistry there. And just running this story back the last couple of weeks, I mean, we nudged each other a few times, like, man, OG Bloodline, man, you feel it? You feel it, just the way the TV unfolds and the left turns and the right turns and the story, man, it's just, I don't know, it's addictive. All this to say, I'm very, very proud of both the Knoxville stuff, and yes, I'm extremely proud of what this, being a part of this. I think there's Hall of Famers who've won multiple championships, who've headlined WrestleMania, have had Hall of Fame careers that never got to tell a story this good, this layered. So it's a privilege beyond what I could put into words to run it with these guys. It really has. Yeah, I don't know what else to say beyond that. I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm glad I contributed.
Your time for one final question.
All right, CM Punk. You have sweets in front of you, so I feel like I have to ask you a spicy question. So a decade ago, you famously said that a lot of your previous clashes with management were because you were reminded that Roman Reigns is a big priority for this company, and at that time he was touted as the future of the company. When you reflect on your time away from wrestling and then making your time back to the WWE, what do you make of the meteoric rise of Roman Reigns?
No comment.
Yeet. On that note, that wraps up our question.
Wow, that's do we have
no
time
comment,
for
dude.
a weird way to end it. No,
I'm following orders here.
Okay, okay, they killed it.
Yeet.
Yeah. All right.
Yeet.
Jimmy's hurt. Not that bad.
Yeah, my brother broke his toe on this big splash tonight. I'm going with you.
Yeah, happy birthday to my wife Naomi, and we're out on.
Happy birthday, sis!
Jimmy and Jay, Sami Zayn, CM Punk.
What up,
Sax?
Thank you for spending some time with us, guys.
Color on.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
All right, well, Byron Saxton gets that room back under control. Good luck with that, Byron. We are back here. Jackie Redmond, Wade Barrett, Big E. You know, I think the start of that press conference with the OG Bloodline, minus Roman Reigns, but plus CM Punk there in the press room, I thought an important topic came up, and that is, does this mean you guys are back together? It's like, That's going to be a question now, and I don't know that the answer is very clear because we've seen Jey Uso have success. We've seen Sami Zayn, who was really traumatized in a lot of ways by his time with the Bloodline, despite speaking glowingly about it. There was some bad times as well. So what do you think?
Well, I think it comes down to what Roman Reigns wants to do next. And I found it quite interesting that Roman Reigns was not there with the quartet of winners. Why was he not there? I don't know if there was something mentioned in the press conference before we got there.
Where in the world is Roman?
He wasn't there. I suspect he's currently torturing a certain wise man to find out exactly what this guarantee that this favor that he's promised to CM Punk, how does that going to play out in time? And the tight lips of Paul Heyman may have to give way at some point because Roman Reigns is not a man you should be hiding information from, to say the least.
And Jackie, to your earlier point, when the Bloodline first started, you saw a lot of the guys, the Usos had done incredible things in the tag team division, but oftentimes they were kind of Roman's lackeys, and the dynamic has really shifted now. We see now Jey has become this enormous star, Sammy has gone on his own, even Jimmy's come back, and now the positioning is different. And I think that's oftentimes one of the issues, especially with a larger group, is now you have all these personalities, all these superstars. Can they all work together? Because, does being in the Bloodline mean diminishing your own singles path?
I think what you're trying to say is that all factions over time, they start to argue, they start to fall out, the personalities change, such as, I don't know, let me think, the New Day. What about the New Day? They've gone a bit sour, haven't they?
Are you going to give us a no comment on Kofi and Woods? At the moment?
Don't pull a CM Punk here. Give us something. What's going on?
What is it that you want me to say?
What's going on? 10th anniversary's coming up, mate. It's this Monday on Raw.
I know.
Are they going to make
energy
it?
literally just went up here to down here.
I have never been happier watching the New Day than I have been in recent weeks.
That's just awful.
It's been
That's
super.
rude.
They made my life hell for a long time. Let me tell you, and you were part of it.
But we're a team now, right? We're teammates. We're teammates. So we're going to work this out because that was not nice. That was not nice.
Pushing some buttons.
By
That's
you.
what we do.
Speaking of not nice, Kathy Kelly earlier today caught up with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, who were unsuccessful in the Women's War Games match tonight. Let's hear what they had to say.
Excuse me, Liv, Raquel, for weeks, you two were criticizing the other team for not being able to be on the same page, as well as mocking Rhea Ripley's injuries.
Kathy, I'm going to cut you off right there because your timing just seems to be impeccable. All you need to know after tonight is that Rhea Ripley is going to get what's coming to her. And Liv Morgan is still your greatest women's world champion of all time. Ahora, lárgate. That means get lost.
Gladly.
Oh, man, I'm bleeding again.
Well, no surprise, Raquel Rodriguez not happy with the line of questioning, not the way they wanted tonight to go. How much do you think Liv Morgan being pinned by Rhea Ripley affects Liv? We talked about the Rhea side of it, but what about the Liv side of it all?
I mean, there's no shame in being pinned by Rhea Ripley. However, when Rhea Ripley is your mortal enemy who you've done a number of heinous things to over the years, yeah, it can be soul-crushing. I think Raquel feels pretty bad about it too. Her primary job at the minute is to protect Liv Morgan, and that didn't happen tonight, in part because she was handcuffed to the top rope.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Rhea, too, because in the presser, she mentioned the fact that Io is indeed the #1 contender, and she's going to allow that to play out and then wait her turn, And as much as Rhea's wanted to get her hands on Liv, the fact that she's still thinking about Io and having that opportunity, salute to her, because, that's a big part of it as well. Like, Io has deserved that, and someone, I think, is someone who has been pushed, unfortunately, to the background of a lot of these conversations. I don't think we spend enough time talking about how incredible Io Sky is as a performer. So let's let that play out and see how things happen as well. She deserves
and her
it.
Respect.
She very much deserves it. But yes, it's. I don't think we're obviously not done with the Liv and Rhea story. The Dom in the mix as well. But yes, let's see what happens with Io next.
All right. Well, it's been a very entertaining and intriguing night here in Vancouver, British Columbia. Survivor Series War Games officially in the books. The first PLE here in Vancouver, like I've mentioned, since 1998. It's been over 2 decades. The wrestling fans here really wanted it. They got it. Let's take you back live to the press conference room and hear from Triple H.
Being here tonight. I just want to thank all of you for coming. I know
it's a long distance for many of you, so thank you very much for being here. I want to thank Destination Vancouver and Mayor Ken Sim for their hospitality here. Coming off of the holidays, for a lot of our talent rolling in on this, a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, but when you come here and get the reaction and the reception that we did, it was phenomenal, especially from the fans here. Canada always delivers, Vancouver no different. As was just mentioned, been a long time since we'd been here in Vancouver, something that we wanted to fix and come here with a big event, and they certainly delivered tonight. We set an all-time North American arena gate record here tonight. So quite good. That's our, it was sold out, 17,828 in the building tonight. And that is our 63rd sellout for the year. So we've had quite a year, and it's wonderful to be able to cap it off here in Vancouver. Canada has been so great for us over the years, especially this year. We had a lot of big events here in Canada. So, as you know, last year Elimination Chamber was in Perth at a large stadium there. Optus Stadium, we were looking, Nick and I, to hit another big stadium this year, and we're sort of pondering where we could go, and Canada was at the top of that list. So as you know, we will be going to Toronto's Rogers Centre. Used to be the Sky Dome. When you're my age, you remember it being the Sky Dome. It's like a thing. But that will be massive for us. Tickets go on sale this Friday, December 6th. Pre-sale is Wednesday, December 4th. So very excited to go there with Elimination Chamber. And for everybody, obviously, they know that will be the last premium live event on the road to WrestleMania, but will also be the last time that you will see John Cena in that market. So I think this is going to go quick. People should get their tickets now. As you know, this is part of WWE's global expansion, which we've been very focused on in the last year, and a lot of that has to do with our deal with that we have with Netflix. So as you see, January 6th, sort of the big next evolution of WWE heading to Netflix. At that time, 80% of the globe will hit Netflix live with Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and all our PLEs. US will be slightly different, but that includes all of Canada. So when that date hits, you're going to get all WWE programming here. It's a game changer for WWE. We're very excited about that. But before we get to January 6th, we've got Saturday night's main event, December 14th, Nassau Coliseum. I'm sure you've seen the spots for it. It's going to have a lot of nostalgia, a lot of fun. From the same location, the first Saturday night's main event was there. Lots of announcements on that coming up. But you're also going to get Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens in the main event there, so should be a spectacular event. I thought tonight was a phenomenal night. For the most part, our talent came away fairly unscathed. We had a few minor things, and Bronson Reed is in the other room getting looked at right now. He's going to be questionable for a few weeks, I think, after that splash off the top of the cage. So LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura, I thought had an awesome performance tonight from both men. Shinsuke coming back after some time off and sort of seems a little bit reinvigorated by that. A new U.S. champion coming out of that match. We had the triple threat, Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig. Next level from all three of those guys. It is shocking to me sometimes when I try to think at how long Braun Breaker has been doing this. It is incredible, his growth. It's incredible the performance that he is putting on. Same with Ludwig. You know, he's sort of one of those talent that slip under the radar sometimes of how good he is. And Sheamus is just always Sheamus, getting taking a beating with a shillelagh at this point to me, but he just still keeps on going, man. He never stops, and like he says, banger after banger. So awesome night for them. Gunther and Priest, I thought that, it was smart. They reset, old school, told a great story, and Gunther retains. So phenomenal performance by both of them. And then I thought both men's and women's War Games delivered. Men's with just incredible storytelling and sort of just next level in that space to me of the storytelling, which is where this all stems from. So phenomenal night for everybody. So with that, I'm going to open it up to you guys.
Okay, with our first question, we'll head to the third row.
Justin from the Wrestling Classic and from Vancouver. You talked about the significance of coming back to Vancouver. We thank you a lot for coming back to Vancouver. You talked about the Rogers Center and in Toronto. So I'm curious, would you guys be coming back to Vancouver? And is there any chance you can maybe host an event in BC Place?
Yeah, look, I think it's certainly with the reception we got here tonight, certainly with 17+ thousand fans here, and they were loud all night long. It's funny for us. Sometimes it's harder for us to hear in the back, even with the show audio on. It's a little bit harder for us to get a feel for. I wish I could sit in the arena and get a feel for it, but everybody kept coming back all night long, just saying, "Man, this crowd is unbelievable." So hopefully that translated at home. But it was definitely a great night here. So the prospect of us coming back high.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
Sonia Singh, EC Inc. CE Inc. Just looking ahead at Elimination Chamber coming up in Toronto, what makes that PLE so special that you're doing it again in a stadium for the second year in a row?
I don't think it's particularly that event, but I think as you get into the road to WrestleMania, certain times of year to me, if you want to talk about it from like a sport feel, right? If WrestleMania is your Super Bowl, you're sort of heading into your championships, going into that last run. So from Royal Rumble through Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania is kind of like your playoff season. So I feel like it's our I don't want to say our one time of the year, but it's certainly one of our biggest times of the year where we feel like we can do things at the biggest level, and we'll see. But that's the concept behind it is really just delivering at the biggest times.
Fred Slow, CBS Sports Radio. With PLEs in 2024 coming to an end, what can the WWE Universe look forward to in 2025 with the move to Netflix? What are the exciting points?
I think it's more of the same in the sense of what resonates in our business is great storytelling, right? It's having phenomenal athletes, the men, the women that do what we do. It's having great characters for those athletes, and then delivering stories the best that we can, right? That keep people captivated, that go from week to week. If you really break down what WWE does, I don't think there's an entertainment source on the planet that is like it. When you look at the amount of content we put out between Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, the amount of content we put out, plus monthly PLEs, plus Saturday night's main events as we go through this, right? The amount of live content, the amount of live storytelling that we do, there's nothing else like it. So it all stems from that. What should people expect? Hopefully, if we do our jobs well, they'll get that same level of storytelling and athletics that make WWE, as big as it is. There's a lot of speculation about what we're going to go to and how it's going to be at Netflix, and the truth is, we'll all just have to wait and see. Even now, it's a little bit of some of that stuff is up in the air. You see live programming going to Netflix. You saw the Tyson Jake Paul fight, and it did incredible numbers. Things that they'll work through there. The platform is so big for us. I believe that, as long as we continue to deliver the way we've delivered in 24, that it's a game changer for us.
Yep. Our final question.
Hi, Joel Torres from Contralona. I want to ask you about the WWE ID program. What opportunities and resources will the program offer independent wrestlers to prepare them for a potential WWE career?
So thank you. WWE ID is so there's a lot made about our NIL programs, our college athlete recruiting, and where we do that, right? But there's also a group of men and women that are out there that, for whatever reason, found their way to professional wrestling, whether that was after college, before college, whatever that is, right? They went a different route than college athletes did. We don't want to negate any of them. So we're keeping our eye on all of them. But the independent scene is very difficult. That's a long, hard road, and we're trying to make that easier. So we're trying to pay attention to the people that are at the top of those lists of the people that have the most potential within that grouping. We're going to support them in their careers financially. We're going to support them in their careers from an education standpoint. So as they're going through their journey, as long as they're continuing to progress, we stay with them. They send us their matches. We're helping to guide them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, how they can progress, how we can make them pros. They can make their way to the Performance Center. There'll be some other announcements about content and some things that we will do with them, but it's all geared towards helping those kids as these college athletes get their opportunities to try to make it in this business, that they get their opportunities to make it in this business. If somebody is working really hard and they're busting their ass every week and they're progressing and they're continuing to grow, they stay in our system and until it's time for them to outgrow that system. And if they're not, we'll make moves and we'll change some people around, and we'll get to the people that we feel like that long-term investment can pay off, not just for us, but for the industry itself, right? The strength of our business is built on the strength of the athletes across all things. So while we're extremely excited about NIL and our college recruiting and everything that we're doing there, and I think when you look at NXT, you can see a system that is churning out, I mentioned Braun Breaker earlier, right? It's churning out athletes, incredible athletes at a very rapid pace. This is another way for us to amplify that. So it's to strengthen that independent scene.
Triple H, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. We'll see you at Saturday night's main event. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque addressing the media here in Vancouver at Rogers Arena. You know what that means. That means we're near the end of this post-show.
Oh, yeah.
And we have yet to hear, Big E, your 5 count.
Well, welcome to Biggie's 5 Count, where I detail my top 5 performers of the night. Number 1, we got to start with Io Sky, a.k.a. Trash Can Shouty, who descended from the heavens to once again create a memorable War Games moment and secure the victory for her team.
Hashtag trash bag shotty, make it trend. Okay.
That's right. Number 2, Shinsuke Nakamura. Some of you thought this quadragenarian, that's for someone who's in their 40s, that's you, you're a quadragenarian.
That.
Yeah. Was just
You'll
here
be
to
there soon, pal.
Hey. They thought he was just here to roll over and eat the pin, but no, salute to your new United States champion. Number 3, Braun Breaker. Beast, specimen, dog, agent of chaos, whatever term you want to use, that man is an S-T-A-R. What's that spell?
No idea.
It spells star.
Okay.
Number 4, we got...
I can't believe you didn't bark.
I should have. Damian Priest at number 4. Famed wordsmith Rick Ross once said, "I'm not a star, somebody lied." And they lied. They lied when they said Damian Priest wasn't a star. What a performance. Once again, even though it wasn't a losing effort from Damian Priest. What you laughing at? And last but not least, number 5, Jacob Fatu. I love you, Jacob. I love the way you move. I love your recklessness. Even though he lost, that man is a star, just like Braun Breaker. But what a joy to watch Jacob Fatu do his thing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Big E's 5 Count.
5. That's what I'm talking about.
You're mocking me.
No, it was complimentary.
That wasn't an
I'm scared of you now. Don't look at me like that. I'm scared of you.
You relax.
Sensing just a slight amount of tension there. But that was a great 5 count.
Thank you,
highly
kindly.
energetic.
Thank
Loved
you.
every second of it.
I
do
tried.
think maybe CM Punk could have been in there somewhere.
He could have. Look, there were a lot of people.
Securing a huge victory.
A lot of incredible people.
You two falling out or something? Used to be made.
Honorable
We're not
mention.
falling
A
out.
lot of people fall out with CM Punk over the years.
Don't you? This is what you do. This is
the
you.
latest in a long line.
Just stirring it. That's what you do.
Wade is really
New
trying to
Day
make a
falling
mess
out with
here
everyone
tonight.
at the moment.
Wade's trying to make a mess here tonight. Let's get quick final thoughts before he gets us in more trouble than we can handle. What's your final
thoughts? Can I
thought?
just shock you? I was really impressed with CM Punk tonight. I thought the whole main event came together for the OG Bloodline the moment he put himself on the line to save Roman Reigns from that giant tsunami. They perhaps would be obliterated now if not for that. And the reason the OG Bloodline lives on is because of CM Punk.
Absolutely. I also thought the Women's War Game match had so many great moments as well. I think fondly of Naomi putting the trash, the toilet seat
the toilet seat
on Nia Jax. Tiffany Stratton with the tease once again. A star. You see the reception she got here?
Oh, yeah.
People are very much behind her. But I thought it was a really great night for a lot of people. Tiffany was definitely at the top of that list.
And we've gone a whole show without mentioning Nia Jax's hair, and I thought it looked awesome from a style standpoint. Maybe that's a future segment. I don't know. Style points.
She's the absolute
Jackie's style
queen,
points.
isn't she?
Yeah.
My favorite of them all. Number one
Nia
for me
Jax?
in the women's division.
Oh,
Yeah,
she is a force. She is certainly the irresistible force. All right, well, that does it. Survivor Series War Games officially in the books. We hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching the post show, the actual show, and of course the countdown show as well. For Big E, Wade Barrett, I'm Jackie Redmond. Thank you so much for watching. Next stop, Saturday night's main event. See ya.
This has been a special presentation of WWE. For over 70 years, the global leader in sports and entertainment.
Oh, people at home.